Firstly, thank you very much, sir, for giving time from your busy schedule.
नहीं, not at all. Yeah, यही होता है, you think कि अभी कर लेंगे, and then
So, firstly, sir, as you have seen in the thing, we have divided the entire conversation into three parts, which says personal, professional, and what would be your advice to young generation and people in India. So, first, we will start from personal, and we will start from your background. So, what was that thought which came to your mind to prepare for ISS?
I think honestly, I was not happy with my private sector job, and then what one has to take a call on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done, and I thought it was an interesting option. Getting to the civil services. It was always my father's dream also. The important thing is how much motivation you have on a day-to-day basis. I think that is very important. You can be motivated, now when you look at people, okay, you're running a business, you can be motivated in doing that. You're doing a private job, you can be motivated in doing that. So I think one needs to find that motivation in life. I think for me, I think the most important thing was just okay, I did engineering. After that I did my MBA. After that I started working as an investment banking, so it was working out well for me. But was that motivating me on a day-to-day basis? That is where I felt like I probably when I dreamt of having a life like this, it's not worked out well. And honestly speaking, life is also a matter of trial and error. You try out something. Here also, if I look at it, there are certain postings which work out very well. So you have a certain personality, and you take it with along with any sort of job that comes to your way, any sort of posting that comes your way. Your personality also has to gel in well with it. So you need to enjoy the people that you're working with. You need to enjoy your surroundings. So it's a combination of various factors which work out for different people. So I think for me, I think the key motivation was the fact that I thought I wanted to start life afresh. And when you have to start life afresh, so you need to keep yourself motivated all the time. And at that particular point of time, when I quit my job, I didn't want to get into private sector, so I was looking for options more in terms of higher education, in terms of what next to take up. So my father asked me, why don't you just write the examination once. So as I started preparing, I got more interested in the whole idea of the IS examination. And then I think that is what motivated me, the circumstances, the fact that I was enjoying the preparation. And I think the fact that you get a platform where you can change the course of life. I wanted to do something because when I was working in private sector, so I was sitting in front of the computer and working on trades, working on having a lifestyle which I don't think so was adding on anything on a daily basis. So here when I'm working, I think the work gives me that satisfaction. And I always thought that if I had to have a working life, then what and how it should be, because it's one life that you get. And I think my parents were very supportive when I quit my job, and I came back.
So, how was your journey, sir? How was your journey while preparing for IS? What all challenges you faced while preparing for your IS exams?
I think the key challenges while preparing for any sort of competitive exam is basically understanding what the exam requires. Like for CAT, you also examination. If you need to write CAT for MBA entrance, so you need to understand that you need to manage your time very well. For that, you need to understand which question to pick up, because if you had unlimited time, then you could do all the questions. But if you had to understand how much resource in terms of time you are allocating to a particular section, in terms of what question to pick up, what question to read, and what question to immediately decide whether to do or whether to leave it for later. I think that was very important. So every exam has a strategy. Every exam has it's like a if you look at athletics, so if you are preparing for a marathon will have a different strategy. While if you're preparing for a sprint race, then you'll have a different routine, different regime, different fitness program, different nutrition program to go for, right? So you need to really understand the exam from the perspective of what the examiner is looking at, and what sort of selection process is it involving, and how many stages are there, and you need to understand how much what in terms of time, resources, what in terms of is important to read and what is not important to read. So if you say, suppose you go back 10 years, you analyze, the pattern of questions that are being asked. And so you could predict, okay, these are the sort of questions that are being asked. This is important for me to read, and this is, not important for me to read. So I think that is the key, challenge that I faced. And because I had limited time, I started late. And at that particular point of time, I was also looking to getting settled also in life. It's not like, you are one is looking for, unlimited attempts to complete the examination. So understanding the exam was a crucial, this thing. You'll have to make decisions at every point of time. I made some good decisions. I think I made some bad decisions also. But I think just sticking on and, having that feeling, having that positive approach that, yes, if I know this XYZ person who's made it from my school, who's made it from the same institution that I went to, who's made it from the same MBA school that I've gone to, gives you the confidence that, yeah, why, if they can make it, with suitable efforts, I too can make it. I think believing in myself was, I think, the, key factor that, helped me in preparing the exam for the examination.
So any moment while preparing for your examination where you thought that, okay, I need to quit now?
Because I was not third section as as an option to go back to, right. Not that I don't say that private sector is not bad. It works out very well for the people I've worked with, and in fact, so for me, I think, at no point of time I thought, when I realized the fact that, I had made mistakes, I had taken wrong subjects to start with, that is when I decided, okay, this is probably not my best attempt. I probably need to change my strategy, and I need to, take in some other subject. I thought, I had more in me, and I was actually preparing for my second attempt. Luckily, with God's grace, things happened.
So what was the reaction of your parents when they came to know that, okay, now my child has become an IAS officer?
Well, I think my parents are very, they were, I was not there. My we were there. Me and my brother were in Noida, and that point of time, there was a friend's wedding in Jaipur, and then we'd come back, and we were really not expecting the result to come out at that point of time. So my brother checked it, and then he told me that, you made it. And then, of course, my father was very, he's very emotional. He was, all of us were in different places, and my mother was very excited and all. So I thought, it was very exciting because, at some point of time, it was a middle class dream also that, you're getting into an examination, because I think it's, it's a completely fair merit-based examination, which, offers the opportunity for people to, a chance, for a dream job, if I could say. And I think we were really happy about that. And of course, the fact that, a lot of prestige is associated in society about it. I think, the sort of, the respect that it brings into the eyes of, the people who, living along with, and, then they realize that suddenly, okay, from one point of time that you're writing the examination. And of course, we've not told a lot of people that, I was trying to write the examination, because there's no point telling anybody about it. Okay? It's your struggle. So, you have to, what's the point? If it could help you out in some way, if it could positively motivate you, fair enough. But then, we kept it a very limited, people, but then the word spread somehow, okay, he's written the examination, he's done that way. So people are very anxious, and then they're also very anxious to draw on their own conclusion. But to make it, because the success rate is very less, I think that was, this thing. And the second thing I think was important for the fact was the fact that, what service would I be getting, because I was not very sure about, what service I would be getting. So, immediately, there's a lot of confusion about, kya milega, kya nahi milega. And then, my father found out that, if I'd be getting IAS, otherwise, he'd have to write the examination again. So he was very happy about the fact that, that okay, now this part is over. And it was like, it was always something, he'd always thought of, and it was like, suddenly you think of, because my grandfather had given the examination, he had reached the interview stage. So it was always something, somebody to, make that stage. And I think, so to that extent, I think we were very happy, and, very emotional also at the same point of time.
So once you became an IAS, how was your early days as an IAS officer?
We thought things will change, but nothing changed. We think things change, but nothing changes. Honestly, so things do change also, but they do change very gradually because the first postings that you get, the sort of I think the first I think leveling ground is the fact that when you enter the academy, everybody's at the same stage. Everybody's trying to understand what we are and how will what is expected out of us in the job. So I think the academy is a very it's a place which encourages conformism. It's a place which encourages to follow a certain regime. And you're supposed to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go for PT and then come back. So obviously you're expected to be physically fit, then attend all the classes, then evening sports or some cultural activity or something or the other kept on happening. So I thought it was a very good starting point. You made very nice friends out there, and you met wonderful people out there. And after that, we went to a different states. So different states have their own way. You go to districts and you realize that not everything is being offered to you. We to set up a house also there. I remember when my wife had to set up a house, her parents went along with them. Then they purchased all the furniture. So the first two salaries go on to completely at least settling down. So the money is never the I think. People do feel that initial stages, I think the money is a cause of concern, because after a certain point of time you do get jumps, and the increments are very very helpful when we do realize any pay commission that comes in also adds into a lot of disposable income. So so we would go out on a lot of dinners and a lot of places in Missouri. So it was a lot of exploring, but of course it was very enjoyable to meet so many people. So you do learn a lot in the process also, because people from different backgrounds come in. There's a lot of that you can assimilate from them. And I think once you go to your districts is the first point of time when you go for your entire 1 year training in the cadre that you're supposed to be. So I went to a hilly district which is Pauri over here. So Pauri had no 2 o'clock would be like midnight, because it was not on the sunny side of the slope that I was living in. So there were times when I had to drive my own vehicle to reach a certain point, a certain office for training. The vehicle would not come in. So you need to enjoy these aspects. IAS is a way of life. Civil services is a way of life. You do expect the comfort would come in. Then there's no point. I think the sense of enjoyment, the sense of fulfillment comes from the fact that every day is a struggle. Every day you are encountering situations where you have to take quick decisions. You're the leader in the office. You have to behave like a leader. You have to take ownership. You have to stand up for your people. So I think these are the important factors that which differentiate it from the the other jobs that are there in the private sector. The day you join your office, you're the head of the office, and you have to take decisions. I think that is the most important thing that I felt. I was very active in this thing compared to the private sector, where I felt I was very passive, where I had more to contribute. But there was a certain career path that was expected out of me, and which I think would have taken so much more time to come to a leadership position, come to a position where I could make a sort of valuable contribution to the firm.
So what all type of departments have you handled in your course of career till now?
So I've had a very varied kind of this thing, and of course sometimes the transfers are also very quick. Sometimes postings are have a longer duration. So I think the important thing is general management role, you learn the skill sets. So it's important, I'll tell you, in terms of what is important, I think it's very important, you identify the people you're working with and what are their core strengths, what are the, sort of, how do you build a team for it? Because every day you'll be getting a task. So, okay, आज मुझे PM Swanidhi कराना है, तो फिर मुझे उसके लिए who will be the best person to in charge, who will be the departmental person, how do you build a team around it so that it goes on smoothly, right? So I think that is the key aspect. You we're doing things like, in tourism we are trying to build a museum right now over here. We are doing facade paintings, facade improvement works. Then we are trying to build a spiritual economic zone over here. So the sort of inventory of projects that come in, in this kind of a job, there are two kinds of inventory of projects that come in. One is that which come in as an institutionalized project. Say suppose which I'm talking about, a scheme or a project which has been initiated by somebody else, and then you're continuing it. Second is other projects that you initiate on your own. The importance lies in the fact you go and see that okay, today I go see that I need to do some facade improvement works over here. Okay, it's looking very dirty. How do you do it? You build a team around it. You get people in it. You look for once you had the team over there, you look for finances, you look for what materials would be needed, and build in a team, and then you sit with them and solve out issues for them. So I think the importance in a general management role is that to understand how do you channelize resources, how do you build teams, and how do you ensure that the right material is available, which I call 3 M's: the men, material, and money. Okay. The fourth M, I think, which is most crucial for me, is the motivation. The team should feel very motivated. You have to keep them motivated. You have to monitor them considerably, and you have to ensure that they reach their right destination. So these are the general management principles, I think, which going to a B school helped me a lot. It sort of prepared me because in B school you're supposed to manage your time well. You're given unlimited tasks, unlimited projects, but you're supposed to deliver. Everybody is delivering around you, so you're not exception to it. So what you learn in B school, I think, very importantly, is the fact that you have to be professional all the time. And we also learn to appreciate the fact that okay, this guy could on the spot he could think about something, and he could give answers, he could give intelligent answers to something. So I think start appreciating how do you use, if you are blessed with some sort of talent, how do you use that talent to reach a particular goal. On the posting side, I have to start with, we start off as joint magistrates. Joint magistrate is equivalent to a subdivisional magistrate posting, which I did at Pauri, I did at Roorkee, I did at Dehradun, I did at Mussoorie, and then after that I was posted as municipal commissioner Dehradun. And municipal commissioner is basically an urban management role. You're dealing with solid waste management issues. At that point of time, SBM was completely picking up 2014. So I had to do a lot of running around, how to get things in place, and it was a lot of learning in the process also, which went on. Along with that, I had director urban development as one of the charges. I was mission director for National Health Mission for a certain period of time, so I could learn a lot in the health sector, and a lot of financing. I went for a training in IIM Ahmedabad at that particular point. It was very nice learning experience. It was a 3-day training, but beautifully done, conducted by Professor Maheshwari over there. So and then I was additional secretary of higher education, of vigilance. So every sort of a posting that you do has certain amount of learning, has certain amount of learning in terms of the institutional learning that you have to do, also in terms of the people's skill that you bring to the table. How do you get your team, how do you get them to have faith in you, and how do you get them to give their best output? Because everybody has its own leadership style. Some people will work with some, you have a carrot and stick policy. So, somebody would work well with carrot, somebody would work well with the stick. Okay. You have to make sure that this time stay together as a team, right? So I think that is, a very key challenge, which, as a general management, practitioner, you're bringing to a table. And with, you with different kind of posting, you learn a lot about the subject. So you need to continuously read about, what the subject is requiring, okay, at that particular point of time we went, when we were in as municipal commissioner. So then I went to Chennai. We saw, they'd come up with underground bins concept. Then we saw the solid waste management practices that were being followed in Hyderabad. So there was just so much learning and then implementation. Then after that, I moved to Haridwar. Haridwar also, I was in the municipal commissioner role. So the salaries had not been paid for 10 months. So we had to look at how do the assets that we had would land. How do you convert it into ready money? So there were certain challenges that we were looking at. How do you maximize, if you look at the company, how do you maximize the assets base that you had and convert into cash? How do you maximize the revenue for your staff so that they're suitably compensated? So I think these were the key challenges that we faced. Haridwar, of course, has a lot of floating population. Solid waste management was a challenge. Then, I was the head of Haridwar Roorkee Development Authority as vice chairman over there. The regulating the urban development framework over there. The housing, I think, was a challenge. Then coming up with a new housing project, I think. Then I got posted as district magistrate Almora, which of course you're the highest executive authority in the district. So you have to learn all the processes. You have to learn about all the departments. See which departments you need to have a tighter control on. Where you have your subordinates who are suitably self-motivated. That if you give them a task, they're able to carry it on to fruition on their own. So I think each posting has posted a different challenge, and of course each district, if you look at, has something unique to offer. So the entire, if I look at entire environment space that we work in, it has challenges on a daily basis. And I think that is what keeps us motivated, because if it became like a vanilla kind of a work, where you're facing the same day, same thing, say nothing more to add to it. I think that is what gets boring, and that is where one loses out his or her motivation. And I think the idea is that suitably the career itself, each posting brings its own challenges, be it and any sector that you're looking at. You look at industry and trade, there are postings where IS officers work. You look at water sanitation. You look at drinking water supply. You look at electricity. You look at sort of finance. You look at personnel management. I think natural resource management, anything you look at. So I think IS officers, to that extent, for me, I think personally, I think having had to work in so many different departments, even though for a short period or a longer period, had its own learnings. If I was mission director, National Health Mission, so I could we could work on with the doctors over here and implement plan over here during COVID-19 for how do we go about controlling it. And hopefully the mortality rate has been less than the national average in Almora.
So any particular movement, any particular incidents in your career which make you more motivated to go on?
I think the fact that I wanted to make a mark for myself, because after coming back from this thing, it was like everybody would ask me, what are you doing, so I would say work from home. Okay. Before it became actually this thing. So I always wanted to prove myself. I think that was the greatest motivating factor. I think secondly, the fact that you are from a middle class background, you need to have that security. We ultimately we could our parents are kind enough to work on, but they are also worried about the fact that what would you be doing in the future. So I think it was always motivating, and I wanted to give in my best, because I've always felt that this was an examination that it had a certain this thing. I was suitably motivated. 2300 examination hai, so maximum lekar aana hai. So I felt that I had to give in my best. So nothing particular overly dramatic thing happened, but I felt like yes, this is something the more I got involved with the preparation, the more motivated I became. And I felt that okay, I could understand. शुरू में there were basic questions like okay, ये पढ़ना है, ये book पढ़नी है, ये नहीं पढ़नी, and then towards the end of the preparation I could understand, okay, this is useless, leave this, do this, leave this, do that. So you could understand what was important. I think that is the level of preparation that all aspirants need to have. To start off, you need to have very basic questions, but towards the end, of your preparation, you should understand, you should be able to take and choose that, take those decisions that, okay, this is important, this is not important, this needs to be completely ignored, this needs to be, okay, written down, so on so forth. I think, and of course, you need to be really enjoy your preparation. It's not necessary that, preparation by preparation, I don't mean that, you need to be involved, say 18 hours, 24 hours. No, you need to take break. You can decide you need to prepare for 6 hours, you need to prepare for 8 hours, you need to have a very individualistic plan. Okay. So I would think about, okay, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours probably, in the evening, maybe, say I would watch a lot of BBC for international affairs. So, I would, okay, have breakfast, have a diary, something important comes in, write over there. So, you need to have that understanding, okay, this is important for me, this is not important for me. Watching the news, on probably, say, suppose some channel, which is not adding any value, so has no meaning, So we need to understand right now, if I look at the kind of paper there is, so a lot of questions are being asked from the government schemes. So you need to have an idea about what government schemes are. So that is the key challenge, what the paper setters are trying to ask. And secondly, the idea is that, you need to have a very, I feel you need to also understand if the question has been framed, why has the examiner framed it, and, what sort of answer is he expecting, and how is your answer going to differentiate you from your, your peers. Okay. So what extra are you adding on to the answer? I think, if you are adding on a map or a bullet point or making it very easy, underlining something, keyword, key phrase, I think, how you present yourself does add in a little value to it. So I think it was always a challenge too, because, I think 6 to 7 months just to assimilate, 2 subjects and general, I thought the requirement, honestly, before the CSAT came in was much higher. Preparing 2 subjects, because both me and my wife had prepared for 2 subjects, and second subject is always an Achilles heel, So I think, with me, I took up geography and I took up electrical engineering. So I think geography was a very natural choice, in that sense. I really enjoyed, it was something I was interested in, maps, atlas and all. So I did not have to put in that much effort, but there were certain aspects in geography like geomorphology or, say geographical thought, which probably had required me to, find books. And at that particular point of time, Wikipedia and all had not really picked up. So you need to find, you needed to find books, you needed to study, so you needed to really understand, okay, this is a book that I'm reading, I really like it, okay, I go through some other book, I find it okay, this is okay, I'll go through this section from this book, this section from this book, and then stick on to it. That is exactly, you need to revise also from time to time, because, ultimately you need to, but the key, I think, lies in the fact that to understand, what are you really enjoying reading it. And for electrical, I think, I got very little time, so I've scored very average marks. But I think, I probably realized, by the time, I had given the examination, that, it is an examination where I probably could have taken something like political science or something which I had a natural interest in, and, could score more. Like right now the American elections were going on, I was naturally interested, I was watching it, so it was nothing that was getting forced from my side. Right, with electoral college there is different, how it's different from our. So you need to understand, what subjects are you interested in, and you need to make those right choices. Like I won't say engineering subjects or science subjects are the ideal subjects to take up. An art subject would require much lesser effort, and there are chances that you score much higher. So the risk return ratio that you need to evaluate, and you need to take up, I think these were always the motivation, because as an examination, it's a very active examination. There's so many stages. Like an objective examination has its own different challenges. A written examination has its own challenges. An interview, of course, has its own challenges. So each stage, I think, clearing one by after the other. So you could never get bored as such about it if you're suitably motivated to work for it.
So as you know, our series is known as Amazing Mentors. So for us, you are one of the our mentors. So who is your
No,
mentor?
but honestly, different people at different point of time, different seniors also at a certain point of time. You do get fascinated by different people. Okay, and I think a sort of motivating factor for me. I think what in my family has been have been my parents, my grandmother. She had to face a lot of struggle. She had 5 daughters. She had to bring them up. My grandfather had expired early because of blood cancer, and then she had to get together completely, to get 5 daughters up in 70s and 80s, and all of them are professors and now have retired themselves. So yeah, there was a point of time, when my mother and my grandmother sat together for an examination at that, when they were doing B.Ed together. So do one does face difficult circumstances, one does face, you the if I could say, you cannot decide where you're born, but you can decide where you want to go. I think, and despite different circumstances, people coming from different backgrounds, I think with the key factor lies in the fact that I really like the people who after a struggle have reached a certain point of time, a certain point in their life where you feel that they've made it in life, and that is what I feel for my grandmother at particular point of time. She could settle her entire family in such a fashion that education was the most important thing, and I don't think so girls education was that important at a particular point of time, but she felt that it was important for her children, and it was important for her children to work and work well, I think. So I think she's been one of the most important, inspiring figures in my family.
Okay. So what would be the advice which you would like to give to children who are in process of preparing for IAS?
But I think सबसे important चीज जो है कि just believe in yourself. Even if you're taking wrong steps, just believe in yourself and work hard. Because I think a lot of people were more talented. I keep on saying there were people in there were people in BITS. There were people in IIM Bangalore who were more talented, who were any day more gifted, who were any day more intelligent than me. I happened to be lucky, and I just got lucky because of the fact that I think I worked hard. I believed in myself, and I thought, okay, whatever happens, whatever this thing, I just have to keep on going, keep going. Something will work out. Something will work out. I think that is what you need to believe in. You just need to believe that, okay, if this doesn't work out, nothing. I'm not losing out anything in life. There's just so many options. Life is, some people are just unhappy, being in IS also, right? So ultimately, what the goal of life is just to be happy with your surroundings, just to feel satisfied with your surroundings. I think, and that is what you should completely, believe in yourself. Secondly, I think, just don't be afraid of failure. Even if you fail, there's just so much you could stand up for. There's a certain people who are preparing, friends who are preparing, and who've now done their PhD from JNU and are highly qualified. Or probably would be looking for some positions in Cambridge. So which is, I think, very, very good, honestly. So you need to, keep on involving yourself along with the preparation, keep on adding degrees or working towards a certain, setup. Along with it, having a plan B, I think that is very important. I think for me, the plan B was because my, father was looking to establish some an institution. I think that was a plan B. Okay, if this doesn't work out, probably open a school, open a coaching. Work out. Something will work out. Definitely, why not? You need to just be passionate about it. If you feel that you're preparing well, you have a certain strategy. Why not pass on to others, right? So I think there is always a plan B. Of course there are certain perks which are more on the other side. There are certain perks which are more on this side. So my key advice to all the aspirants would be just have a very focused approach and just work towards your goal. Don't think about whether you'll achieve it or not. If it doesn't happen, also you should be ready with a plan B. And nothing is the end of life, right? Completely. Life gives you so many opportunities. You should just grab on, hold on to it, right? And you look at Romans, and today, he was in AIMS, then he came to join the service, and then he quit, and now An Academy, all ads are all over the place. All his batchmates talk about him being a crazy when he was quitting, but now everybody's in awe of him. So you need to understand that digital space is now an opportunity, and he took that risk and he worked for it. Now he's somewhere. So I don't think there are many people who actually also quit the service after a certain period of time, after gaining those certain skill sets, and go to different positions all over the world. So my key advice would be that here would be that just feel that even if I think your 20s is the time to experiment, and your 20s, if you don't like something, keep on trying exploring that what is exactly that you like. Some people would like media space, some people would like advertising space. So you need to find that what keeps you motivated on a day-to-day basis. Then thirdly, I think important is time management is important. You cannot study for 16 to 18 hours. If people tell you in their Pratyogta Darpan interviews, or competition success interviews, that they've read for 16 to 18 hours, believe me, I have interacted with people whose interviews I have read, and I've asked them, did you read for 10 to 12 hours? And they were like, नहीं, हमने तो ऐसे कह दिया था, उन्होंने कहा हमने कह दिया. But nobody reads for such a long time, honestly. But for whatever time you read, you just should focus on it. I find people who get under a lot of stress. I think specifically for people, the stories that I hear from Delhi, people who are living there, one sees, okay, this man, the equation about the fact that once you qualify, you are successful, and once you don't, if you do not qualify, you're not unsuccessful. I think is completely baseless.
Okay.
Your success lies in what you think of yourself. If you feel that you're satisfied with something and you're doing well and you're living a happy life, I think that is success, right? So one should have one's own definition of these things, success and failure, and learn to deal with it. It makes you more stronger any day. So as I was talking about the fact that you should have a completely stress-free environment when preparing. And I think in today's world, you can have a job, you can prepare with it. Or I've met a lot of people after they see that a single paper has come in, so they could manage their time well and prepare for it. And I've had a very nice ranks also. So the idea is take as much as you can from the coaching institutes, but have an individualistic approach towards your examination, towards your preparation, and keep on working, keep on having working hard, keep on it's not like something okay 3 days 3 दिन में नहीं पढ़ूंगा और वो नहीं करूंगा. हर दिन मुझे थोड़ा सा वो कुछ करना है, बट जिस दिन मुझे करना है, जितने समय भी करना है, उतने समय पूरा मन लगाकर करना है. बाकी समय जितने समय नहीं करना है, उसके लिए मैं कुछ भी प्लान कर सकता हूँ. Most of the time I find people who feel that okay what if I don't make it. Everybody has a path in life, yeah. Nobody will end. You have to experiment. If I had not quit and not come back to Kanpur, and decided I wanted to prepare for it, then the decision was whether to take coaching or whether not to take coaching. So I decided I like my home environment. I could probably stay more motivated and work more for it. I used to go for swimming also in the summers and all. So it's about having a daily routine. There were certain friends who were school friends who were in Kanpur, and we would go out, watch a movie. So the idea is you need to manage your time well. If you are enjoying, just enjoy. If you are reading something, just then you have a focused approach to reading it, but just don't waste your time. If you're not feeling reading, you want to watch TV, go ahead, watch TV. Okay. But you are the center of if I could say, you're the center of your own life. So if you don't feel positive about yourself, the world will not get together to make you positive about yourself, right? You have to believe in yourself. You have to understand, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, and work towards it. And that goal can keep on changing in life. So that's where I am, honestly, and I also went through a lot of personality changes also, I was an introvert guy when, I was in school, and maybe, over a period of time, the nature of job, nature of experiences I had have turned me into, what I am today. People should not feel, if I look at the case of my wife, she was, I think she always knew that she wanted to get into the services, and I clearly feel that she has a knack for, administration herself. So she went ahead and she prepared for it in Delhi. And the first attempt, she missed out by a single mark. She was there in the supplementary list that came out. She went ahead, she joined RBI, and she gave it with full guts. So the next time around, she did not take any coaching, nothing, and she got. She always believed in the fact that she could make it. So the idea, here is just believe in yourself, and most of the time, I think, what Swati and I completely believe in the fact is, if you go to Delhi, एक चीज होती है भेड़ चाल. भेड़ चाल, completely is something like, which we felt, she would discuss her experience. Then, you go to a certain person's room, you'll find that, okay, he's doing this thing, I should also do this. Okay, he is doing this thing, I should also do this. Okay, you go to coaching, they tell you this is important, I should also do this. I feel that is where you miss out, honestly. You have to develop that capability. Okay, this is an examination, how do I prepare for it? I had a classmate who scored 135 rank in IIT JEE, and he did not take any coaching despite being in Kanpur. So he could decide for himself. So any sort of competitive coach examination, you could just get the material and understand, okay, this might be asked, this might be important, okay, and develop an active strategy. I used to find, okay, people around me writing the examination, having very leisurely pace. I would be always like, okay, 100 marks in 1 hour. If it's a 300 mark paper, that means divide it in such a way that you do get at the end of the day 10 or 15 minutes to understand. Okay, make your answers more attractive. So I think that this time management is important. If you miss out to 60 mark question, you are getting a 0 in that, right? So you need to understand, how do you actively involve yourself? How do you write good answers? The confidence within you that, okay, irrespective of what the question is being asked, I can give good answers, I can write good answers, I can present myself well. I think that is what exactly the examination is looking at.
So any corona guidelines you would like to share to the society? Any measures they should take?
I'm sitting all alone. 2 गज की दूरी पे कोई भी नहीं है. समय right now the time is 12 o'clock and हो सकता है बाहर बाद में बाघ भी आ सकता है. Just sitting here. So I'm not wearing a mask right now, but I normally wear a mask wherever I go out. And I think secondly, very important to understand that corona is still there. And one should not get lax with the safety measures that are in place. Also, it is also being currently it's not being established how the disease is playing out with different people. While we are finding some people to be completely asymptomatic, for certain people who we thought were very fit had to undergo hospitalization. Also, plasma therapy was, they had to undergo that. So my idea would be that one cannot be very sure about it. Prevention is the only way going ahead till the point of time the vaccine comes in. Of course, from the other point of view, we have also made arrangements for if and when the vaccine comes in, it will be duly administered to everybody, all the healthcare workers in the first go, and of course to everybody. But I feel what the new term that has come in is the new normal, and one is gradually getting aware of it, what would be the new normal, and adhering to it.
So sir, at last, one line that defines you.
I'll just say have a balanced life. I think that is important. Balance in life. Don't go to any extremes. Okay? Enjoy life. Life is short. Life is life. Don't think life has any meaning. It is what meaning you give to your life. That is important. Live life the way you want to live and enjoy life.
So it's like live life happily.
Live life happily, yeah, completely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Your precious time, sir.
Most welcome, Gaurav. And wish you all the best, yeah.
Thank you very much.